Hello, this is the first of the new series of Real People, and we'll be talking to Karen Nicol about running and cycling and a few other things as well. We're also going to be interviewing John McEwan, and we've done that actually in his house, and you'll see that interview after this. And John's got over 90 years experience in the area, and he's going to talk about some of the things that happened over the years. First, Karen, welcome to Real People.
Thank you for having me.
That's fine. Do you want to tell us a little bit about how you get into running in the first place? How you get into the exercise side of things?
Yeah, sure. I started running to lose the baby weight. I've got two boys that are 21 and 16, so I'm still on that mission. I've not quite got there yet, but that was the initial catalyst. And yeah, it was just to run to the lamppost if I could, and then walk a bit, and then run a bit, and then walk a bit, and yeah,
that's a good way to start, isn't it?
Yeah, it was
amazing. Just break into somewhat that is to take it slow.
Yeah, very much so, and just that headspace as well, because I was a mum of two young boys, so it was just time to get out and clear my head, and yeah, very quickly fell in love with it, and I've gone to the other extreme now where I'm an ultra runner and run crazy distances.
So what kind of distances are we talking about? Marathons or?
Quite a bit more than that.
Right.
Yeah, I compete in an event called the Backyard Ultra. So I recently set the female GB record for the Backyard Ultra, where I ran for 35 hours, I think it was.
What, non-stop?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So how many miles did you cover in that?
In that race, I think it was 148.
So 140, wait a minute, 148 miles.
Yeah, I've gone from running to the lamppost to the other extreme now.
Not everybody can do that, obviously. That takes a lot of time to get to that stage.
I think you can do it if you have the desire to achieve something, and that's a big drive behind our coaching and community business that we've set up, Wildheart Runners. We set that up just under a year ago to encourage people to achieve their goals, and overcome any barriers that they think that they might have in relation to running or just life overall, and to encourage people to get out and run.
Did you have a mentor at first who helped you, or did you have a book, or what did you have any help at first?
Yeah, I have a run coach. I'm coached by an amazing guy called Marcus Smith. He's actually based out in Dubai, so it's online coaching.
Right.
And he's completely changed my mindset towards running and life overall. So
wow.
Yeah.
So it's quite therapeutic as well.
Oh, amazing! Yeah, it brings me huge amounts of benefits, and the mindset has completely changed the way that I live my life as well. So it's not just the physical benefits, it's also...
I've dabbled in it obviously, and it's quite addictive.
Oh, very much so.
Running,
yeah. But there's worse things you could be addicted to
than
running.
Of course. I remember when I had an injury and you see people running, you're quite jealous.
Yeah.
You can't do it, you're like, oh.
Yeah, very much so. I had an injury quite recently. I had an operation actually on my foot. And I had a period of time out of running, and yeah, it makes you appreciate it even more when you get it back, for sure.
So tell us about the businesses you've got in the go just now. You've got one-to-one coaching for running? We
do, yeah. So the business is called Wildheart Runners. Myself and my friend Debbie set that up in October last year. So we do one-to-one coaching through an online platform. So we coach people in the local area, but we also coach people that don't live here. So
all over the world?
All over, yeah, because it's done online. But we also do community-based runs, which are open to everybody. So that's for anyone to come along and from all abilities. And we tend to run them maybe once a month. Okay. So the next one that we have is on August the 17th in the Ockles Hills, and then we'll have one in September, one in October, so we'll have regular ones.
You also talked about some running events for children, local children. Can you tell us a bit about that? Yeah,
sure. I set up, I'm the event director for Levengrove Junior Park Run, which I set up. We're just about to celebrate our 2-year anniversary. So that's a free 2-kilometre run every Sunday that takes part in Levengrove Park, and that's for children aged 4 to 14 to come along and run, skip, jog, walk, whatever they want to do.
What time does that kick off at?
9:30 every Sunday.
Okay.
And the cafe's just reopened there as well, so they're now open from 8:30 in the morning, which is great. So we're hoping that'll encourage a lot of the parents
so a nice
to come.
run and then a roll sausage.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I would do. That's where I'm going wrong, I think. I think the other thing you mentioned was cycling as well. That you've got some input into cycling as well.
Yeah, my son has been quite involved in setting up a local mountain biking club called Lomond Riders.
Right.
So Lomond Riders is mountain biking again for the local area. They're just recently being established just now. But we've managed to secure a contract with Scottish Cycling called Rock Up and Ride, which is providing us with funding for up to 80 children in the local area to get a brand new bike from Halfords.
Right.
So the purpose of the scheme is to give children that wouldn't normally be able to maybe afford a bike access to a bike free of charge. So the only condition is that they come along for 5 coached sessions with Lomond Riders. And we'll teach them either to ride a bike if they can't ride the bike.
And then they get to keep the bike.
And then they get to pick their own bike.
Sounds like it.
Yeah, so they get to pick their own bike. We ordered it from Halfords specific to their height and requirements, whether they want a BMX, a mountain bike, whatever they choose. They get a helmet, they get a lock, they get a light, and it's all provided through Scottish Cycling.
Taught how to ride safely, basically.
How to ride safely, and even if they can ride a bike just now, we can teach them maybe how to improve that or how to do some skills on mountain bike trails and just make it fun for the kids as well.
I heard only yesterday somebody told me that people who cycle can live up to 10 years longer, which I thought, oh right, that's quite interesting.
I think it's the benefits of exercise overall, isn't it? It improves your physical well-being, but it also improves your mindset too, and that's got a lot to do with it.
I guess cycling is a wee bit less impactful as well than running, but it depends on the person, I suppose.
Yeah, as I say, I'm not a cyclist, but I'm supporting my son through the club, but I do get dragged out on my bike now and again by him, but I'm not very good.
So just to kind of finalise this interview here, and thanks for coming along, is there anything coming up maybe in September or going forward that people should be aware of?
Yeah, we've got an event with Wildheart Runners that we'll be publicising in September. It's based on the oxygen advantage, so it's to understand how you can breathe better and how that can support your running and your exercising. So that'll be taking place in Helensburgh, and people can find out about that by following us on social media. So we're on Instagram and Facebook as Wildheart Runners. And then in October in Glasgow, we'll be doing an event based on the female athlete. So really understanding how things like your menstrual cycle, perimenopause can impact on women. You know, an area that's not really talked about enough, and we'll be doing a full event on that on the 5th of October in Glasgow as well.
Well, again, thank you so much for coming in, Karen.
Thank you for having me.
People can see you, of course, on Facebook and different social media platforms.
Wildheart Runners, yeah. Thank you.
We're also going to be interviewing John McEwan, and we've done that actually in his house. And John's got over 90 years experience in the area, and he's going to talk about some of the things that happened over the years. So, John McEwan, local man, born in Bonhill, is that right, John?
That's right, above the Cosy Corner.
The Cosy Corner, which isn't with us anymore, I doubt. Have you been here most of your life, or have you done a bit of travelling?
I've done a lot of travelling.
Right. Maybe start from your early days.
Well,
when you're still in the Vale.
Well, my parents had just come back from Canada.
Right.
And my mother was heavily pregnant with me.
Right.
And we came back at Christmas, and I was born in January. She came back in a Polish cattle boat.
Right.
At that time, used to run the cattle from Canada to up the Clyde.
Right.
And it took a 10-day journey as a rule. So they used to there a couple of weeks I'd have been born on there's a Polish cattle boat, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And they used to say, if you're born under the flag, you took your nationality.
So you could have been Polish.
So, and the way things worked, me and the Poles had an intertwined life. Because later on, when I went back to Canada, I played for the Poles. Polish, Polish White Eagles, as they throw it in Toronto.
Football team?
Aye.
Briefly, when we talked earlier on, just when we first met, you were talking about the Tullyhune Castle. Tell us a wee bit about that, about after the war, the American troops were stationed there.
Oh, the American soldiers, just the ordinary plains soldiers, the ordinary Marines or special, there was just, and there were quite a few thousand of them.
Right.
In the Navy, and they were stationed at Balloch Castle.
Balloch Castle, right.
So they did all their work in the Loch, training.
The practice there.
Training in the Loch with the various boats. They had the Rain Army, the Rain Police.
Right.
The
Military police.
Aye, military police. which we call them snowdrops.
Right.
White helmet,
Right.
white gauntlets,
Right.
white cross belts.
I've seen them in films and stuff.
Aye,
You know.
but they walked about Balloch.
Huh?
Oh, aye.
Just make sure they weren't getting into trouble.
There was lots and lots of trouble.
Was there? And tell me, you said that the soldiers left Tillicum Castle at one point,
Aye,
and it was kind of abandoned, and the locals moved in. Is that right?
that's right. They're down, it was known as the camps just,
Mm.
and it was a fight for who got the best listen, because when the soldiers got, they just got and left bodily,
Right.
and there was still a lot of furniture and beds.
There's no announcement or nothing. They just
No,
left.
they just got up and away, you know, obviously.
And then the word get down to the locals. But the locals moved into some of the accommodation, didn't
They
they?
moved in, took over.
So you're talking mid to late 40s, basically.
Oh, aye.
What happened then in the 50s? What were you doing during the 50s?
Me?
Aye.
Well, I got called up. I was in the army.
Right. National Service.
National service. Did my 2 year, and mostly, he did it in England.
And what were you doing in the National Service down there? Were you just training down there?
Oh, I did all the training in artillery,
Mhm.
and you do your basic, they sent you abroad. The Korean War was on at the time.
Right.
It was at its peak. We got put on a troop ship, and I always remember the name of the ship. It was the Test, T-E-S-T.
Right.
It was a converted German cargo ship,
Right.
converted to a troop ship. Right through, so hammocks.
Right.
Come on. So we didn't know where we were going at the time.
So you're heading to Korea?
We didn't know. You're just on a troop ship. You didn't know. But they
So
threw us off at Egypt
Egypt, right.
and a big transit camp. So I was there for the rest of my career.
Right. So how many years were you there then?
Just over a year. Just over a year.
Right.
Maybe a year and a bit.
Was there any action scene there, or was it quite
Oh,
quiet?
the Egyptians didn't. At that time, the Egyptians didn't want us, did they?
Right.
You know, it was getting us a bit unrest.
So they saw you as a kind of invading power a wee bit.
They would throw things, they would throw
bricks and
Aye.
things.
They eventually got us out, you know.
But you did a bit of travelling as well over the years.
Yeah, an awful lot of travelling.
What kind of places did you go
Well, I worked in Holland, I worked in Germany, I worked all over England, anywhere you get
to?
money.
And what kind of work did you do? Anything you
I was
could?
a sprayer, spray painting
Right.
and polisher.
Right.
And
So was that in the motor industry or something?
aye.
What was your favourite country you worked in that was, apart from the UK, what was your favourite country to work in?
I would say, you looked after, I'd say Holland.
Holland, aye.
And even the Germans as well.
Mm-hmm.
I always made sure you get your break,
Aye.
you weren't overworked.
Aye.
And
And did you must have socialised at night as well in Holland and
okay, you know, we were about 40 minutes from Amsterdam.
right.
So that was always a popular place with all the local workers and that.
Aye.
But and then, as I say, went back out to Canada.
Oh, you went back to Canada?
Well, my granny, my family's half Canadian.
Right.
Brothers and sisters, they were born in Canada. And I was nearly born in Canada.
A lot of families in Alexandria in the area, they've got a lot of relations in Canada, haven't they? I know we have,
Aye.
and I know quite a lot of families have, brothers and sisters that stayed there and other ones that came back home
See,
again.
my mother's side of the family, they're from Glasgow.
Mhm.
And they emigrated to Canada just after the First World War, say 1920.
Right.
Yeah, because
So how long were you in Canada when you went back again?
a couple of years.
Aye. And you did the same kind of thing, spraying out there as well?
I worked in the gold mines.
Tell us about the gold mines, what was that like?
As an experience.
Was it Alaska you worked in then?
No, up the north of Canada. You were about 180 miles from the Arctic Circle.
Right.
Yeah.
So it'd be cold?
It was right up north of Canada.
No.
The name of the mine, it was a German-owned Schumacher.
Right.
That tells you.
I've heard that name before.
And the mine next to it was where a lot of them. There's a smaller mine. It's called the McIntyre. It was a Scotsman, obviously, that discovered gold in that area.
And did you discover any gold yourself? Did you?
The job I had was a plumber, running air and water to the hard rock, they call them hard rock men, the drillers.
Right. So you'd run air and supplies down to the
I run the
pipes
pipes and to the hard rock men.
Right.
For me work their big drills and the pattern. The blue ones a day.
Right.
And you were sent you the road.
Right.
Because
Why the blast ones?
none of that, any of the gold, you could see it in the rocks, you know. So the security guys would come down with
They didn't want you just pick a few bits up?
Well, they call it that high grading.
Right.
A lot of guys did it.
Right.
But if you're caught high grading, you automatically get 6 months in the local prison farm.
Right. So it wasn't really worth it?
Well, guys did it because I took a wee bit. You jam it up into your because you give your number.
You suddenly have a whole row of gold teeth in the way at the work.
But that bit of high grading, somebody in the Vale Academy has got it.
Yeah.
My daughters took it in to show a teacher.
Right.
I had it in the drawer, piece it. And it stayed in to the Vale Academy, and that was the last I seen it. So,
That's what happens, you took things like
well, that was quite. That was
I went to the Vale Academy, by the way, I'm no slying there like that.
well, that was the Vale Academy we went is just the primary one.
Christie Park.
Christie Park.
Of course it was. Aye.
That was the Vale Academy there.
John, we could talk for hours and hours about what your life and other things that's happened.
Well,
even just that first wee glimpse of what you've told us already. It's fascinating for me, I'm sure it will be for other people too. So I just want to say thank you very much for giving us a wee bit of time. So I just want to say thank you very much to my two guests today, who are Karen Nicol, runner extraordinaire, and John McEwan, who has a massive 90-year experience of the area. Thanks again, and bye for now.